everybody. I'm doing a tutorial today on how to create custom Fallout 4 paintings for use in your settlements or just for use in game if you mod or whatever you feel, but they are there for you to use. They are going to be standalone images and not replacements of the actual in-game files, so you'll be able to keep the in-game files as well as add your own images on the side. Now, before we get started, I will tell you there's three things you'll need to download in order to get this working. But there are two alternatives for a tool. So straight off the bat, you've got the Fallout 4 paintings asset file that I've created. It has a set of um, this is the folder that you'll get extracted to. So it has a set of meshes, a template landscape and portrait mesh for the actual NIF files, which is the uh, model file. You'll have the textures, which are a canvas texture and a blank texture, which are important, and that's all you need. So alongside that, this next tool depends on whether you're using Photoshop or some other alternative software to resize your images, as you'll need to resize your images to a specific size. So if you're using Photoshop, you can download NVIDIA's texture tool for Adobe's Photoshop, which allows you to then save your PNGs or whatever or your edited image in Photoshop as a direct draw surface or DDS file, which is the texture file that is used by games by Bethesda's Fallout 4 game. You can alternatively use DirectX Software Development Kit as an alternative if you use something like GIF or a GIMP, sorry, or Paint.net, as long as you have. So if you have Photoshop, I'd recommend the NVIDIA Text tool. Otherwise, download the DirectX Software Development Kit. And finally, you'll need NifScope for editing the actual NIF file from the template one to have your painting involved in it. So once you have downloaded all these tools, which will be in the description, extract your assets and go into your data folder of your Fallout 4. From here, you'll need to create 3 new folders. Under Textures, Set Dressing, create a new folder for your mod. Now, I will be using the Windows XP background Bliss for my painting today, just as an example, but you can use any painting, so obviously any picture you want. So under Textures, Set Dressing, create a folder. Create a folder with your mod name. I'm calling XP Bliss, so as you do. Same under Meshes, Set Dressing, create a new folder called XP Bliss, your mod name. And finally, under Materials, Set Dressing, and again, XP Bliss. Now, open back up your textures, settings, and your mod name, and copy and paste these files into here, the files under the textures into your textures, Set Dressing, XP Bliss. Then open up the meshes, Set Dressing, XP Bliss, and copy over your meshes. Copy over as many meshes as you're adding images. You can do this even now if you have a set amount of images in mind, or for each image you add, you're going to need a template. You're going to need a .nif. So I'm going to be using a landscape image today. So I'm going to be using this, and I'm going to name this now to be the name of the painting that I'm going to be doing. Obviously, if you're adding paintings one by one, add these one by one. Or if you have just one painting or 2 paintings you want in mind, you can add them early. Whatever works with your working setting or with your workflow. So once you've done this, your data folder is set up, ready. So you will need to start. So you can start editing your image. So open up Adobe Photoshop, or your alternative image editing tool, which is apparently still opening on my other monitor. So I'll just drag that open and create a new image. Now, if you want a landscape image, you need to use 512 by 256. For a portrait image, 512 by 512. I'm going to be using 512 by 256 today, but this for my portrait image. But the same principle applies with your image, with whatever portrait image you use. So I'm also going to open up XP Bliss and quickly edit this to somewhat fit. That'll do. So I'm just going to quickly save as. You know, you don't have to do this part. This is the part I'm doing just to have an example to use for the DirectX. Obviously, so just give me a second. So this is a 512 by 256 now. Oops. So now, so this is the actual thing you need to follow. So if you're using NVIDIA tools and you've got Photoshop, save your image as a D3/DDS here. You'll see DDS. Go into your mod folder. Go to your textures, your data folder, textures, set dressings. So it's your textures, set dressings, and mod folder where you've put these 5 files, and call your texture whatever you want your photo, your painting to be referred to as an ID. So I'm going to call it the first one. I'm going to call it shortened version of the mod name followed by Bliss, just so I can have my own file management later, and also if anyone sees this, I'll know it's from the XP Bliss mod. This is why we had the folders. So save that, and you'll see this pop up. DXT1 RGB 4BBP or BPP no alpha is the setting you want. It should be the default setting that pops up, but if you've played with it before, it might be different. But the setting you want is this. The default settings of the software. You leave all this as it is. 2D texture and save. So this is now saved. The alternate method you can use is using the DirectX SDK. So the DirectX SDK can be used by opening the DirectX texture tool and dragging in the 512 by 256 image from your Fallout 4 modding into the texture tool. And then once you've opened it, make sure it's the selected image. I just double clicked on it to open it up properly, but it works either way. So format, change surface format, and scroll down until you see 4cc 4-bit DXT1. That's the texture you want to use. So file, so once you've done that, save it as a DDS file, again inside your DirectX textures, set dressing, XP Bliss. I've already got it in there, so I won't do that. However, that is how you do it with the DirectX version and an alternative software over the Photoshop. So now once you've done that, you are free to open up the creation kit, and this is where we start. And it would open up on the other monitor, wouldn't it? So this is where the creation kit comes into play now. So once you've got the creation, well, not yet, but once you've got the creation kit under play, you can use the material editor. So it's the sixth one along, I can count, from the left here. It's the one that looks like 4 coloured bubbles. Just click on that and you'll notice that the material editor opens up. So what you'll need to do now is you'll need to click browse for your diffuse. Your diffuse texture is going to be the texture that you want for your picture. So the diffuse texture under set dressings bliss is xpbliss.dds. Your normal texture is painting canvas painting canvas 01 n.dds, and your smoothness stroke specular mask is black 01 d.dds. Once you've done this, save as, and your save as dialog will pop up. So you can now save as a material in your set dressings. So data, it'll be already under materials, set dressings, XP Bliss, and again, just for naming convention, just name it whatever you named your file that you are using. So now we have one more thing to do, which is the last piece of software. So now you can close down Creation Kit again for the moment. Now you need to open up NifScope. So let me just open up NifScope quickly. NifScope comes as a zip file, so you'll just have the NifScope folders. Just open nifscope.exe, and it'll look like this. So now this is where you can either, if you haven't already, you can drag the painting for this, the picture for this one over from landscape or portrait, the template over into your files. But since I already have, I can go open, and then you'll want to browse to your mod files here, data, and this is meshes, set dressings, XP Bliss, and there it is, xpbliss.mif. Now when this opens up, you'll see in the right a painting image, sort of white with no texture. That's normal. So you've got all these like these nodes and values and blocks and nodes. So underneath the 5 BS Tri Shape block, you'll notice BS Lighting Shader property. That's Bethesda Studio Lighting Shader property, and it'll be called Change This Path. So once you've clicked on it, in the bottom here, you'll notice name, change this path, and then where it has a little bit of says a little image that says TXT. Click on that, and you'll want to change the path to the generated file that you got from when you saved into the meshes. So as you see here, as you see here, materials, set dressing, the BGSM is what you want to point to. So it automatically points to the data folder. So you need to go materials / set dressing / just double check this. So yeah, materials, set dressings, XP Bliss. So I was just checking my notes to make sure that's right. Dot / XP B underscore Bliss dot BGSM. Sorry. Data / materials. Yeah, so it has to be data, materials, set dressings, your mod's name, and then the BGSM you want. So it just took me a moment. I nearly forgot what I was doing. Once you've done that, press Save As. This is your NIF file, which is your model, ready to be used in game. Obviously, for each image in your each painting you wish to add, you have to do that again and again until you've fully added it and added everyone you want to do. And then finally, once you've done all that, you're ready to open up the creation kit for real this time. That was a lot of prep work, I suppose, but it's necessary. So once your creation kit is open, we just bring over all the views. You don't really need any of this, so I'm just going to bring over the object window. So first thing you'll need to do is create a text. So go to World Objects, Static. Sorry, before all of this, go Data and double click on Fallout4.esm. That was my bad, my mistake. Fallout 4. So open that, and that's you ready. Give it a moment. Sorry, Now it's probably the best idea because, as you may see, like I'm running a decent machine and Bethesda's creation kit is deciding to be slow. So let's just give it a moment. It can be a bit of a buggy program. I've actually not had it crash on me once yet without me like just spam clicking whilst I was waiting for this because I was being impatient. But it's best to save as often as possible with the creation kit just to make sure your work doesn't get lost. However, with this mod, in a way, it's kind of good because once you've put all the NIF assets in, you won't lose much in terms of in terms of data and stuff, because a lot of it's outside of the creation kit, which is nice. The creation kit is taking a long time to load for some reason. There we go. So now we've opened this up, you can go to Static, World Objects, Static, Set Dressings. You could go to that. Don't think it wants you to, but you could go to Set Dressings. So you press. So once you're in the set dressing, right click and new, create a new static. The ID is what whatever you want to call the ID. So I do the same as your NIF file, your texture file, your mesh file, your material file. Just call it ID underscore XP Bliss. Give it a display name of whatever. It doesn't really matter because this won't be displayed, but you know, I've just given it a identifiable display name in game in case like somehow you manage to give yourself the item. Then you want to, under model, press edit, and then model file name, edit again, and look for your NIF file. Now you'll see there that your NIF file is loaded with the texture, and your XP Bliss BDSM, the wood frame, and canvas painting 01, which are all part of, well, those two are part of the regular game files. So once you've done that, just press OK, and finally add into the bottom right the preview here. At the bottom right it says preview transform workshop underscore paintings. It's underscore picture frames 01. Once you've done this, rinse and repeat for every single one of the items that you need to add. So now you can go to MISC. So I was reading my notes here, I completely forgot how to do this. So whatever, I'm a bit of a mind blank right now. So go to MISC, and then under MISC you'll need to go to form list. There it is. And create a new form list, calling it whatever you wish to call it. I would again go with the mod name underscore mod prefix 3-letter prefix underscore painting list. Again, you don't need a name for this, so this will never be seen, so you don't need a name for this at all. In the object window now, go back to your world objects, static, set dressings, and filter out for XP, or for your mod, and just click and drag all of your files into this list. Whenever you wish to add new paintings, we're using a list here, so whenever you wish to add new paintings, you're able to just add the files into the set dressings and drag new files into this list. It means that adding paintings in the future is a lot quicker and easier. So finally, once you've done that, you are ready to create the crafting recipe. So under items, constructible object, create a new constructible object called XP. My voice then. Create a new constructible object called XPB underscore. Well, obviously you can call it your mod name underscore. I'm going to call it XPB underscore crafting. XPB underscore CO underscore paintings. Just to follow the Bethesda CO underscore thing. So once you've done convention, so once you've done that, press edit, and there are a few files you need to change. There's a few things you need to do here. So first off, the workbench keyword is workshop workbench type decorations. Your your pickup sound is UI underscore workshop mode item pick up wood free large. Now you can use medium or small. I'd use large. This is what I've done. And again, so you do the same for your put down sound, except it's put down wood free large. And finally, so under your editor, you need to add an editor, a filter, recipe filters, editor ID, add filter. The filter you're after is workshop recipe filter decor O2 wall decorations 03 paintings. And then you can press OK, and you'll see that that's been added there. And now finally, sorry, second to last is to create the recipe itself. Now I'd recommend, well, I wouldn't recommend, you can do whatever recipe you wish here. I'm going to go for, it's not CO, it's C underscore wood, sorry. So I'm going to go for 5 wood. So find the items you want, make the recipe, and finally the creative object is going to be the file that you created before, the XPP painting list. So you want to put the list here. So this is how now we have one recipe for multiple items. So there you go. Once you've done that, that is your mod complete. Your mod should now, in theory, be paintings inside the game. But make sure you again save. I mean, I didn't save at all during this. I would have recommended saving it multiple instances, especially if you're making a longer mod. However, I just took a risk. So XPP Bliss. And there you go. Your mod is now saved. So all you have to do is open up the mod in game, and voila, that's you done. So again, thank you very much for watching. I hope this tutorial has been very helpful to you. I tried to keep it as short as possible, but obviously it's quite a long tutorial. Sorry for any rambling and sorry for any mistakes and like stutters I might have made. I am not the best at giving tutorials, but yeah, I hope this has been helpful for you, and enjoy your paintings inside the game.